Hey, what's up guys, Will Gove here for GSM Arena, and welcome to our head-to-head series. Today we're going to look at two high-end Xiaomi Poco phones, the Poco F8 Pro and the Poco F8 Ultra. The Poco F8 Pro is a flagship killing device with a lot to offer. But then there's the Poco F8 Ultra, which brings some top-of-the-line features. So it's a flagship killer versus Poco's own flagship. Let's compare our review findings head-to-head and see which of these two is right for you. And as always, you can find links to our extensive full reviews down below. The Poco F8 Pro and Poco F8 Ultra both offer high-end features, but the Ultra model brings some enticing exclusives. We'll get into those, but first let's compare the design of these two phones. They look similar, but the Ultra is both larger and about 20 grams heavier. The Pro model has a glass back, while the Ultra's is either made from a denim-looking polymer or a smooth plastic. Both phones have aluminum frames. And you get the same IP68 ingress protection on either phone, against dust and water submersion. One of the perks you get on the Ultra model is its extra speaker. It's a Bose-branded tablet-sized speaker that acts as a subwoofer. While the F8 Pro's speakers are loud, and again tuned by Bose, they fall short of the Ultra's 2.1 setup, which sounds fuller and warmer, with more pronounced bass. Let's have a listen to compare.
I should just let them all go when life seems impossible. From angle change, just one little thing. When life feels intolerable, find your...
The display of the F8 Pro is a 6.59-inch OLED with a 120Hz refresh rate and Gorilla Glass 7 eye protection. The F8 Ultra has a bigger screen, it's 6.9 inches, and this one is protected by Poco Shield Glass. Besides the difference in screen real estate, the experience is the same on both displays. They're sharp, they have support for 12-bit color, and there's Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus video playback. The two phones are neck and neck when it comes to max brightness, and there's good sunlight legibility on either device. And you have the same refresh rate behavior, a smooth 120Hz while you're interacting with the screen, which dials down to 60Hz when idling to save power. You can wake up and unlock either phone with an ultrasonic under-display fingerprint reader. And both of these phones have an IR blaster, which you can use to control other appliances with. The storage options are the same too. You can get the F8 Pro or the F8 Ultra with 256 or 512 gigs on board, and that's not expandable through microSD. Both of these Xiaomi phones run on the same Xiaomi software. It's the latest HyperOS 3 on top of Android 16. It includes things like improved connectivity with non-Xiaomi devices. And there are plenty of AI-based features as well, under the umbrella of what Xiaomi calls Hyper AI. And for software support, these phones are promised 4 major OS updates and 6 years of security patches from Xiaomi. The Poco F7 Pro packs a powerful chipset befitting a flagship killer. It's a Snapdragon 8 Elite, the same as you'd find in the top flagships from not too long ago. The Poco F8 Ultra, on the other hand, is a step ahead, with a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. This is a cutting-edge chipset that you'll find with the newest flagship phones. In benchmarks, the difference between these two devices is significant. It's the same as you'd see when comparing a current flagship to last year's model. Still, despite the improvements in the numbers, you likely wouldn't notice a difference between the F8 Pro and the F8 Ultra in real-world use. Both can handle heavy tasks and gaming with ease. The thermal management of these phones leaves more to be desired though, with both the F8 Pro and F8 Ultra demonstrating heavy thermal throttling during our prolonged stress tests, with sharp dips and spikes. The Poco F8 Ultra has a 6500 mAh battery. It's a bit bigger than the 6210 mAh one on the F8 Pro. And in our battery tests, the Ultra had the better battery life overall, with an active use score of nearly 19 hours, compared to about 17.5 hours on the Pro model. Both phones support the same charging standard, Xiaomi's 100-watt hypercharge. As a result, the charging speeds are neck and neck between the two phones, and quite competitive. However, the F8 Ultra has support for wireless charging, which isn't the case on the Pro model. And now the cameras. The Poco F8 Pro has a main cam, which is joined by an ultra-wide camera and a dedicated 2.5x zoom. The Ultra model has a similar setup, but it's nicer. There are larger sensors on both the main cam and the ultrawide, and the telephoto zooms further to 5 times. During the day, both phones produce very similar images with their main cameras, but the F8 Ultra's stills are nicer. They're sharper, more detailed, and have better definition overall, especially in poorly lit areas. The Ultra also produces better contrast when shooting indoors. Here we'll compare the Poco F8 Pro's dedicated 2.5 times zoom to the 2 times digital zoom from the F8 Ultra's main camera. And actually the Ultra comes out on top. Its cropped zoom is sharper and more detailed, with better contrast and more accurate colors. Now we'll compare 5 times digital zoom from the F8 Pro's telephoto to the F8 Ultra's dedicated 5 times zoom. The Ultra's is indeed sharper and with better contrast, but the gap is surprisingly small in good light. The ultrawide camera on the F8 Ultra is also better, as it has higher resolution with more detail and a more natural rendition. The Poco F8 Pro has a wider field of view and doesn't do a bad job in any way. At night, we prefer the main camera shots from the F8 Ultra. It produces more contrasty photos, which have more punch, even though the level of detail is objectively the same. Comparing the telephoto cam of the Pro to the digital zoom of the Ultra, again we see better results from the more expensive phone. Even from a digital crop, the shots are generally sharper and cleaner, with more accurate colors. And at 5 times zoom, the F8 Ultra's telephoto cam outperforms the 5 times crops from the F8 Pro by a significant margin. Both ultrawide cameras are a bit too fuzzy at night, but to our surprise, the F8 Pro's 8 megapixel shooter is a bit sharper. The F8 Ultra has a 32 megapixel front-facing camera, as opposed to a 20 megapixel one on the F8 Pro. But actually, we struggle to find any meaningful difference in the selfies. Both are somewhat unimpressive. The Pro model is limited to recording 1080p selfie videos, while the Ultra can shoot selfie videos in 4K. Here's how they come out. For some reason, despite the higher resolution, the F8 Ultra's is softer and less contrasty. When comparing 4K videos from the main cameras, the quality appears to be identical, with neither phone coming out on top. It's much the same story when comparing the F8 Pro's telephoto cam against the 2 times crop video from the F8 Ultra. The Ultra's 5 times footage has more detail and better sharpness during the day as well. But for some reason, while the output of the F8 Pro's ultrawide cam is in 1080p resolution, it seems just as sharp as the F8 Ultra's 4K video. In the dark, the nighttime videos from the F8 Ultra's main cam have better dynamic range and less noise. So there you have it, Poco's flagship killer versus Poco's own flagship. Both phones have a nice, bright display, a flagship-grade chipset, and the same software experience. There's also great battery life either way, and the same fast wired charging. The F8 Pro does have some perks. It's a bit more compact, and the overall user experience is quite comparable, despite having a lower price. However, the Poco F8 Ultra has the nicer sounding 2.1 speakers. It has a larger display. There's a newer, more powerful chipset. The battery life is a bit longer. There's support for wireless charging, and the cameras are better overall. In the end, while the F8 Pro is still a solid phone, the F8 Ultra brings plenty of benefits that could be worth it if you don't mind spending the extra cash. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.